Skoda knows how to build a good family car. Its designers seriously understand the features that parents need to save them from tearing their hair out, something that the more responsible members of the Parkers family can attest to. But now we're in the era of electrification, and that adds extra complications, especially on long journeys. In addition to wrestling your kids into their child seats, remembering to pack all your parenting essentials and finding a way to entertain everyone on the motorways, you now also need to plan for charging stops. But as always, Skoda has come through with a solution. Meet the new Elroq SUV.
It sits beneath the Enyaq in Skoda's electric car range, acting as a rival for the Renault Scenic E-Tech and Kia EV3. But despite being smaller, it's hardly any less practical. You still get loads of space and a maximum range of up to 355 miles.
In this video, we'll walk you through the Elroq's practicality features, show you around its cabin and tell you what it's like to drive before offering a definitive verdict. I'm Hope Ellen and this is another Parkers Cars review.
Before I get started, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn your notifications on so you get reminded every time we post a new video. At the time of filming, the Elroq was available with 3 different battery packs and 4 electric motor choices. I'll start with the batteries because range is far more important than speed and power for this car's purpose. The Elroq's smallest battery is a 52 kilowatt-hour unit. It offers a maximum official range of 232 miles, and it'll take 8 hours to fully recharge using a normal 7.2 kilowatt home wall box. Above that is a slightly larger 59 kilowatt-hour battery, which bumps the Elroq's maximum range up to 265 miles and increases charge times to around 9 hours. The biggest battery you can have on the Elroq is a 77 kilowatt-hour unit. It unlocks the car's maximum 355-mile range, but increases home recharge times to 12 hours. But remember, you rarely arrive at home with a completely flat battery. Most days you'll only be adding 10 or 20% charge, which is comfortably doable overnight.
Plus, the Elroq supports DC rapid charging speeds of up to 175 kilowatts. That makes it one of the fastest charging cars in its class at a motorway charger, where every Elroq can go from 10 to 80% capacity in less than half an hour.
There are 4 electric motors to choose from. The cheapest SE50 model produces 170 horsepower, while the middling SE-L60 generates 204 horsepower. Step up another rung to the Elroq Edition or Elroq Sport line and you'll have 286 horsepower to play with, while the sporty, range-topping Elroq VRS has 340 horsepower.
Prices are pretty reasonable too. When we recorded this, the base spec Elroq SE50 cost a tenner over £31,500. That's great value when you compare it to the £36,995 you'll spend on the equivalent Renault Scenic E-Tech or the £33,060 you'll spend on the smaller Volvo EX30. The Skoda Elroq's cabin looks a lot like the larger Enyaq's. You get the big touchscreen in the middle of the dashboard, you get a small digital gauge cluster behind the wheel, and plenty of interesting trims hewn from sustainable materials.
Like the Enyaq, you can choose from a range of design selections, which are basically colour and upholstery packages. My favourite is the loft option. It's standard on all but the Sportline model, and features stylish yet hard-wearing grey fabric made from 78% recycled plastics.
We love the tech too. This 13-inch screen is bright and sharp. I also love this row of physical shortcut buttons which allow you to jump straight into features such as the driver assistance tech or the climate controls. It's far safer than digging through menus on the screen.
If I had to nitpick, the screen is a little slow to swap between menus. And although we haven't yet spotted any on the Elroq, we've also had some reliability issues with the Volkswagen Group's most recent infotainment hardware. Check out the Parkers' long-term Elroq review to see whether any have popped up.
Practicality is where the Elroq really gets into its stride. It's about the same size as the petrol-powered Karoq, But because Skoda hasn't had to find space in the body for the gearbox and engine, you get far more passenger space. Even adults can get comfortable in the back. Legroom is incredibly generous, and even though the roofline tapers towards the rear of the car, there's still ample headroom for 6-foot-tall passengers.
It looks after your kids too. Granted, it doesn't have anything quite as clever as the Renault Scenic's multifunctional armrest, but you still get a pair of USB-C ports and phone holders on the front seat backs. It's wide for a mid-sized SUV too. The Elroq measures 1.9 metres across, compared to the 1.8 metres of the Ford Puma Gen E or the 1.85 metres of the Kia EV3. That means 3 adults or 3 lanky teenagers can fit more comfortably on the rear bench.
Then there's the boot. You get 470 litres of space, which is 10 litres more than the Kia EV3 and 152 litres more than the Volvo EX30.
In fairness, the Ford Puma Gen E has 574 litres of space, thanks to its enormous underfloor storage bin. That figure sounds impressive, but the space isn't as easy to live with as it isn't as long as the Elroq's, which means you'll need to fold the rear seats flat more often when transporting long items. That's annoying.
Plus, the Elroq gets lots of clever practicality touches, such as a storage net on the underside of the parcel shelf and shelves behind the wheel arches, which are great for holding things like de-icer, screen wash and shopping bags. The only fault is that it's a £250 optional extra. It really should be standard. So before we take the Elroq out for a spin, we've got a quick usability test in the form of Hope's Car Olympics. Against the time, I've got to fold down the rear seats so they're flat, tune in the radio to Absolute FM and set the sat-nav to take me to Buckingham Palace. Wish me luck! Let's go! Right, so we're going to go in the back here first. Fold this one down, there's a little hatch at the top. Run, get the door! Run this way. Fold down these ones. Right, all the seats are flat. Jump into the front of the car to get in the front. Whoop. Right, okay, music symbol first and foremost. Let's get Absolute on. So radio, be at the top on it. Absolute radio, bash. There we go. There we go, there's the proof. Then we're gonna go on here, which I'm assuming is the map. No, it's not. Okay, home. There's a map. That was a little bit misleading. Buckingham Palace, search. Buckingham Palace, is it gonna recommend it for me? Hello? No, it's not recommending it, okay. No stress. Buckingham Palace, start. There we go.
Please make a U-turn now.
Okay, folding down the rear seats, super duper easy. Coming into here is lovely. It's really airy. I like the fact that the fabric is a light colour. The infotainment system may take a little bit of getting used to, but it's really precise and sharp.
The Elroq shares most of its mechanical components with the larger Enyaq SUV. And we love the way that car drives. So it shouldn't really come as a surprise to learn that we love this car too.
It's one of the best cars to drive in its class, offering an expertly judged blend of comfort and responsiveness. Granted, it isn't as pin sharp as the corner carving Ford Puma Gen E, but that's not such an issue given its intended purpose.
The Elroq is great at eating miles, especially when you spec the car with Skoda's smallest 19-inch alloy wheels and adaptive dampers. The latter upgrade makes a huge difference to comfort levels, especially when you soften the suspension off. The car simply floats over bumps and potholes.
However, if you switch the car into its sport driving mode, the Elroq can be very fun. The steering weights up nicely and the suspension does a better job of controlling body roll, and the motor is more responsive.
Plus, every model apart from the range-topping VRS is rear-wheel drive, just like a sports car. You can tell the difference when switching between the front-driven Scenic and this. When you're really driving hard, you can feel the car shoving you out of corners from the back rather than pulling towards the verge.
Even the cheapest Elroq 50 is quick. You get a healthy 310 Newton meters of torque, which is enough grunt to propel you from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 9 seconds. More importantly, it means the car never feels out of its depth on the motorway.
You will need to stop and charge more often with the 50 though. So, if you want the best blend of performance and range, you should go for the Elroq 85. It's the model beneath the flagship VRS, with 286 horsepower and 545 Newton meters of torque. It's almost as fast in the real world, and you should be able to cover around 300 miles per charge if you spec Skoda's optional heat pump.
One more thing worth mentioning is how manoeuvrable the Elroq is. Though it's wider than the Kia EV3 and the Ford Puma Gen E, its turning circle is 9.3 metres. That's better than the 10.5 metre turning circle of its rivals, making the Elroq easier to park and thread through narrow streets. If you like the idea of owning a Skoda Elroq but you're not sure which version is right for you, then here's my recommendation. If you don't regularly cover long distances, then save your money and go for the cheapest 50 variant. The motor is more than powerful enough even for the occasional motorway jaunt, and the sub 200 mile real world range should be ample enough for daily commuting and parental taxi duties, especially if you're charging at home each night. The Elroq 60 only offers a marginal improvement on the maximum range, so it probably isn't worth spending an extra £1,850 on over the base model. If you desperately need loads of range, I recommend you step up to the Elroq 85. It costs £38,660, which means it won't get hit by the government's luxury car tax. Sadly, at the time of filming, it didn't qualify for the government's new electric car grants, but Skoda may adjust the price in the coming months so the Elroq can take advantage of this scheme. Remember to always check with your dealer before buying.
The Skoda Elroq is a great electric car. It takes all the strengths of the larger Enyaq and shoves them into a more compact package for a lower starting price.
It also has a cavernous boot, loads of intelligent practicality features, a comfortable ride, and an engaging driving experience. Yes, the base model's sub 200 mile real world range is a little short for long distance drivers, but it's ample for family duties and daily commuting, especially if you have it on charge at home at night. Our only complaint is Skoda's slightly pricey options list. You have to pay extra for things such as a heat pump or the storage shelves in the boot. Chinese EVs like the Leapmotor C10 or the MG S5 offer better value for money, but they do sacrifice some polish to do so.
What do you reckon? Could you have a Skoda Elroq as your next family car? Let us know in the comments section below, and stay tuned to the Parkers channel for more review content soon.